For joining us today. Looks like we're getting some people coming on now. We appreciate you taking some time out of your work day to be on with us. We're excited to introduce sort of the next phase of K12's growth with our vendor directory, but we promise to do it as quickly as and efficiently as possible because we know that everybody has a lot going on. So let me run you through the agenda real quick. Abby, if you can change slides. Here we go. So in a minute, Abby's going to talk about sort of what the vendor directory is all about. I know many people have seen it on our website. You've seen some abbreviated profiles, I'll call them. But we've been spending a lot of time sort of in the background getting things ready for this official launch. So I'm excited to share that, and I know Abby is as well. We'll be sharing a sample vendor profile. We have a poll question because we'd love to gather some data, some more data, because we have started this briefly earlier, but some more data from ADs on what they think makes a good vendor profile and what vendors should know about what ADs are looking for when they are looking at directory profiles and things like that. We'll talk briefly about our plans, what our plans are for keeping vendors engaged, and some of the think tank benefits and opportunities to participate in our vendor directory. So with that, why don't I turn it over to Abby for this first slide.
Yeah, thanks everyone for being here. We are really, really excited about the launch of the vendor directory. It's been something that ever since the conception of K12 was something that I personally initially wanted to create and launch just after being in the space for a long time, working with lots of administrators. And the fact that there's not a go-to place where athletic directors can find clear, truthful, transparent, and helpful information about different potential providers for their athletic departments and their student athletes. It was just a real gap in the industry. So we are super excited to get your help bridging that gap and creating this resource for not only ADs in the think tank, but for ADs across the country. So we're very grateful for your involvement and participation in developing this directory. So the goal is that it's the go-to place. It's an easy place to go for finding information that you need about vendors. It will increase visibility and connect the dots more easily between you and vendors. There's more transparency. We ask very specific questions. We ask for specific information from the vendors who are listed in the profile, from feedback from you, from being in the space for a long time. They're specific to, they're tailored to what athletic directors typically need to see to understand what the value is, a potential value is, and the long-term potential of a vendor's involvement with them for their program. So, and then, again, this is part of the overall mission of bridging the gap between vendors and athletic directors, and ultimately delivering great, impactful resources to student athletes. So there's some different vendor package options and benefits. We have two most of the time. There's a starter level vendor benefit and that package, and that is provides the vendor some basic benefits and exposure. The premium is there's more sections, there's more information that's accessible by athletic directors, and also it involves some engagement with the think tank. and it's a little bit more white glove on the K12 side. So those are really the two packages. We didn't want to overcomplicate this. We want to make it accessible for all vendors in the space who have a valuable solution to provide. We do have a Pioneer vendor membership that we're going to talk about today. It's the featured membership option for vendors right now. It rewards them for being early adopters to this directory and being part of the foundation of vendors on this directory that we want to grow. And again, we want it to be a go-to resource for all of you. So that Pioneer membership includes some additional shout outs and exposure from us. There's a think tank specific project that we're gonna give the think tank so that they get some additional exposure and engagement. There is a deadline for this of April 30th. So Alec will talk a little bit more about this, but we're really interested in providing that opportunity of the Pioneer membership because there are limited spots to your vendors and contacts and those providers that have done a great job and made a big impact for your program. So we'll talk about that soon. Go to the next slide. So just real quick, oops. This is a sample profile. There's a lot more to it, but essentially this is the format. So if you go to k12sportstech.com/vendors, you'll see the vendor directory as it stands now. It has not officially launched yet. So it'll launch likely May 15th, around the middle of the month. Then at that time, you're going to see more vendors, robust profiles that are completed. This is brand new, and our clients, like Rank One, and K12 partners have started completing their profile and adding videos and additional info and marketing materials and contacts and things like that. So it's a lot of really valuable information. We're very proud of the look and feel and the ease of use for vendors, but also for athletic directors who are looking and searching through the directory. There's a filtering function, so you can filter by category type. And that's one of the last things I'll say about it. For the Pioneer membership, we are limiting beyond the guarantee for friends of K12, your vendors who you refer to the directory by April 30th. Past that, we are going to have a limit of 3 category solution providers, like 3 providers per category. So you'll see on the Rank One profile, it's team and roster management. Like that's one of their primary categories where they fit. So their competitors will be probably around that same category. We're limiting it to 3 that we allow Pioneer membership. So that's going to get them a bunch of additional exposure in the space in these next 3 months in particular, where we highlight and promote the vendor directory. So there's a list of category solution types that we'll share with you after this. There's about 30 categories, but you're going to see some of the more popular ones. And we think that we've covered every category for the primary providers for athletic departments. But if you see a gap, let us know. And if you guys have any questions about this as we go, please stop it. You can throw it in the chat and we'll address it. We are going to have a time for questions at the end as well. So quick break for the poll question. As Alex said, we're creating a best practices doc for our vendors based on AD feedback, because as you know, everything that we put in front of vendors And just about everything we advise is through feedback from you. And that's a huge part of the value, probably the reason why vendors work with us is because of your insights and us just being a conduit to that. So this is an additional poll question. How would you rate the importance of a video overview or introduction from the vendor and their profile? And actually we have I'm just going to launch that question right now. So you should get it in your screen. So how would you rate the importance of a video overview or intro from the vendor in their directory profile? We have a spot for vendors to do that. And we're just very curious about your feedback on this. What we'll do is we'll deliver this data to vendors who are completing their profile so that it's not just taking our word for it, it's taking your word for it. Yeah, so we're looking at all of you rated a 7 or above. So that's along the lines of what we expected. Super helpful. Thank you so much for that feedback, because we do want these profiles to be really easy to navigate and to provide great data. So, all right, next.
All right, this is me. Hey, everybody. Good to see everyone on here today. I see a few familiar faces. Some of you may not know me. Just quickly before I dive into this, I'm Pete. I am heading up communications and customer success for K12. So, you probably see the Monday download that's coming from me and the team. I am branching out a little bit more into focusing on customer success, which will be pretty critical to this endeavor here that we're talking about today. So I'll get into that a little bit more momentarily, but that's what I'm doing here. Again, good to see you all. So maybe a little bit bigger picture, sort of background or context from my point of view here. So in terms of why, we're excited to have vendors join, really what we're doing here is pretty unique. It's offering us the ability to work with you, connecting vendors with ADs nationwide. So really, this is the first and only platform dedicated to doing that, directly with K12 athletic directors fully across the country, and ensuring that, the right kinds of solutions are getting in front of the right people, namely those of you on this call today. So, vendors are going to have access to our growing network of ADs, those of you in the think tank, 530 plus of you today and counting. So as you know, it's a very exclusive network of key decision makers. We're very actively engaging, with vendors to improve programs and software offerings and capabilities, to be honest. And then, there's beyond that, just the reach of our network. So the directory also extends to, 10,000 plus athletic directors nationwide. So that really just means, more opportunities for you to discover solutions that could positively impact your department. So not only from the vendor side, but maybe from, other ADs across the country who might be, first movers on a unique solution. And you're getting sort of, a first crack at that, or early adopter awareness as a result of participating here with us, which I think a lot of you have already experienced firsthand as being members of the think tank and having exposure to some pretty unique solutions that are making their way to you perhaps before a lot of other folks. So just kind of leveling that up, and we're really excited about that. So I touched on customer success. I think most of you are probably familiar with that. Many of you might work with customer success managers from various solution providers already, but if you don't, the idea is pretty simple. Essentially, customer success is just a named or dedicated resource. Think of a vendor, whatever that may be. Let's just say, hypothetically Google, if you worked with a specific Google solution and had a customer success manager, that person would be your main point of contact for that product. So really, it's just a dedicated resource to make sure that you're seeing value from the product. And if you have any important questions or things that you need help with, rather than just submitting a ticket into the echo chamber of the internet, you can go right to a person and get some very focused and efficient direct help. So I just say that to say that as part of the vendor directory, we're going to have that component of personalized support. So we're still a fairly young startup growing extremely quickly. But as I said, for customer success, I'll be personally handling all the customer success efforts. So as I just referenced, that means I'll be directly involved in supporting the vendors. And my focus is going to be ensuring that they have what they need to succeed, and that their solutions align with the needs of you guys, the ADs. That's why we're all here. And then related, just sort of ongoing continual collaboration. I'll be working in a fairly programmatic way, I would say, with each vendor to ensure sort of ongoing engagement, providing guidance, and making sure that they're always in tune with the evolving needs of ADs like you guys. So it's going to be a very collaborative effort, and we're really eager to get started and hit the official launch. So looking forward to working with all of you closely in the coming weeks and months.
Thanks, Pete. So last but definitely not least is a little bit on how think tank members can not only benefit but participate in the growth of our vendor directory. The first piece that I want to talk about is discovery. So as Abby mentioned and Pete mentioned, the idea for the directory is to be the go-to place for athletic departments to find new tech tools. It's going to be first of its kind, but it really only works if we're able to get vendors, launching profiles on the site. It's a little bit different than the consulting work that we've done up to this point, just because of bandwidth. The directory is designed for all vendors in the space. Consulting projects have been a little different. We've been a little bit more selective in who we've worked with there. In fact, we're soon going to open up an application for vendors that want to do consulting work with us. But the directory side is for companies large and small. It kind of levels the playing field. It provides accessible solutions for you as ADs to see what's out there and what's best for your program. It's designed to save you lots of time. Hours that you don't have will be saved by all the vendors for a particular solution type being in one place. You'll also have an opportunity to discover what other ADs are saying about these tools, and I'll get into more of that in a minute. But there'll be reviews on the profiles and an opportunity for think tank members specifically to write reviews on vendors that they work with. You're able to get connected directly to a K12 verified contact that will submit a form for you and get you in contact directly with vendors who you're researching and interested in learning more about. You'll be able to do that through our profile. And we're going to introduce exclusive premium content for think tank members, only to access through the directory. Reviews. So this is one of the ways to participate in our directory and something you can start to do as soon as it launches on the 15th. If you log into your AD dashboard, you'll see a button that says review a vendor, and it'll take you to the directory where you can write reviews for vendors that you currently work with. We are strongly encouraging think tank members to do this because it gets the word out to other ADs in the space looking for vendors that they want to work with, lets them know what we as think tank members are saying about the vendors. And this for the time being is exclusive to think tank members only.
Yeah, and sorry to interject, Alec, but that is one of the biggest issues in the space. No other industry is there such an absence of ratings and reviews for important solution providers. So this is a great way for ADs to, provide testimonials and for them all to be verified, but also to be able to voice frustrations about providers and some warning and, some warning signs, and help other athletic directors make informed decisions. Ultimately, you are the best person to give this information, share this information and feedback with other athletic directors. So instead of it just being word of mouth, which it's been for years and years, we want it to be easy to understand if a vendor is going to be a good fit for a lot of the new ADs out there who don't know where to start. Your voice, we have a lot of experienced ADs in the think tank. Your voice, your opinion, your reviews are super, super important and helpful for ADs across the country. So, sorry, Alec.
Oh, no worries. Good call. I think we're ready for the next slide. So just some more ways to participate, and I'll kind of finish with the process for introducing vendors, which might be the most important piece as of right now. But as Abby mentioned in the beginning, depending on if you're a vendor, depending on the package that you select to participate, one of the benefits is strategy sessions or calls with think tank members. So you can expect that we'll be reaching out to you guys to participate in those calls as we start to get them. This obviously is a huge bonus for any customer or for any companies interested in becoming vendor directory members to be able to connect directly with forward-thinking ADs in the space that can help them sort of assess if they're a problem solver for you is a huge bonus and something that no one else offers. And then the last piece that I'll mention is the opportunity for think tank members to introduce vendors to our directory. We have done this a bit in the past. Some of you have already introduced vendors to us, and we're greatly appreciative of that. We want to continue to do it, and we want to start to do it at sort of a larger scale, again, in an effort to get as many vendors in the space using this tool and on this platform. There's a project form that I'll be sharing with everyone in the follow-up. Ask you, if you're open to introducing vendors, who they are, who your contacts are, and where you think they're most appropriately fit into the sort of the K12 universe. Is it just as directory members, or is it potentially as consulting project participants as well? The process is pretty simple. You complete the project form, and then I'll reach out to you with more instructions on exactly how to do an intro. We have an email template that will be tweaked a little bit depending on the company that you're interested in introducing us to, and just some additional instructions from there. We compensate for this as we try to compensate for everything that we do. So the going rate is $30 per vendor introduction, and again, that's for not only completing the form but completing a warm intro email to the vendor. $30 for that, and then if those vendors come on as clients in any way, whether it be members to our directory or consulting clients, there's a 10% rev share involved in that as well. And then we plan on having additional think tank project work ourselves with the directory as we go on. Some of you know we introduced a survey a couple of weeks ago to engage some think tank members in helping us identify best practices for vendors when they're creating their profiles. That's something we want to build on and eventually get all think tank members involved as the directory grows to continue to be able to provide vendors who are on our directory really good information on what ADs want and what ADs need to see to be considered, as a solution type for their school. And I think we're at questions. If anyone has any questions, we have some time. We're happy to take them.
I might actually hop to the next slide so you can see you're going to get some information from us, like resources for introing the vendor, the form and stuff. Actually, I'm just going to go to that slide. So that you have an idea of what you're going to see after this. If there's any questions about that or any questions about the directory.
Alec,
Yes.
would any vendors consider, and it's kind of fresh in my brain, we're coming fresh off of our state athletic directors conference where we bring in a bunch of vendors to a section of that, 2-day conference there. Is that a possibility of trying to get some folks who are willing to travel and go to different state association conferences, or is that already happening, or what's your thoughts on that?
You mean as far as K12 going to those conferences and
Yeah.
promoting our services? Yeah, absolutely. So we've thought a lot about that. We've done it a little bit. We've gone to the national conference, I think the last 3 years. Abby, more than me, has gone to a couple of state conferences. But one of the things that we have introed in the last month or so, are state lead think tank members. Sort of leaders on the think tank that can help us scale in the states that they represent, and they can do that in part by representing us in those state conferences if we can't be there or until we get to a point where we're able to travel and are big enough to attend those things.
Yeah. So
All right, just keep.
Yeah, so if there's interest, let us know because we there's tons of opportunity, obviously, and we want K12 to be a resource for ADs with different roles outside of their school as well. So if and to be a presence, an extension of K12 for these conferences. So and there's actually a section in the vendor profile for state conference or any sort of conference exhibiting, because we want them to be additionally incentivized to go to state conferences as well. And so an AD can see like what conferences they've gone to and what sort of sponsorships they've had. So is that kind of part of it, is like, not only getting vendors through the conferences to join?
Yeah, I'm a director of West Virginia Athletic Directors Association, which I helped build the conference. So, the first thing that's going through my head is not only getting you guys there as a vendor, but also allowing you guys to do a presentation before everybody.
Yeah.
So you're not just another booth in line of, 50 different vendors, but we could give you up there for, a 30 to 45-minute presentation.
That'd be awesome. Let's definitely talk offline about that.
Okay.
Because that's really more the format that makes sense for us just because of the bandwidth with us. But that's a great opportunity because we're not really, we're recruiting ADs for the think tank, but we can do that remotely and through you, and we prefer to get referrals through the think tank members. So that's not really, enough of an incentive for us to be at the conferences, but and then on the vendor side, they're not really the audience either, but that sounds like sort of a perfect combo of both. It's like, here's what we're trying to do in the space. And And yeah, that'd be great. So let's talk offline about that. That's a great idea.
Okay.
Does anyone else have any other questions?
Yeah, and if anyone has any ideas about sort of more efficient and volume-based ways of getting the word out, that's fantastic. You know, the vendor directory, like Alex said, it's for every vendor who wants to, you know, and is willing to be transparent and put information out there that for ADs to see. Consulting work and K12 partners, that's different, and there's a, you know, vetting and work that we do, due diligence on our part to get those vendors as part of as a K12 partner. But this is really for everyone. So if you have any ideas, you know, feel free to think outside the box and just contact us directly, because we're open to anything.
Hey, Abby and Alec, so the partners, are you saying those are the three per category? Is that the difference? And are you all like how does that happen? You know, what are the metrics for someone to be included at that level versus just in the directory itself?
Great question. So when I say partners, I refer to I'm referring to consulting partners who go through the AD engagement program with the one-on-one calls or the market interest survey, who are doing work directly with the think tank outside of the vendor directory. But the pioneer membership, that's where we're limiting it to 3 beyond April 30th. So and the reason for that is it's first come, first serve. They're just going to get some additional exposure and be rewarded for being an early adopter, you know, of the vendor directory. So, because we don't have, you know, we don't have metrics to provide these companies right now. You know, some of that typically they'd come to us and say, okay, how many impressions am I going to get? How many, you know, we don't have that data because we haven't launched yet. So this is an opportunity for companies who can get behind what we're doing and the value it's going to provide athletic administrators to do it early. And that's why we're putting some limits on it and a time frame around it, because it's really valuable to be a pioneer member. And we don't want it to be, you know, we can't possibly promote. I don't know. We want to credit them for, you know, being a pioneer and being an early adopter.
Yeah,
Does that make sense? Sorry.
as part of our follow-up, we'll send out information that sort of details to you guys exactly what the additional features are for Pioneer membership versus the other packages. And like Abby said, why it's valuable to come on as an early adopter and become a Pioneer vendor because of the value that we're going to bring to those packages as opposed to the others that are valuable as well. So as part of our follow-up, which we're going to send out the recording and some directory resources right away, including a link to the intro vendor project form where you can sign up to introduce vendors to us, and information on the Pioneer vendor membership. And then, you know, as think tank members, you know, just start to look at that project form. Please start to think about what vendors you can intro to us, and then start to, you know, as we get closer to launch and at launch time, start to look at who has come on and see who you're able to review as vendors that you use, because that'll be a huge help in the process as well, and in keeping everyone engaged. Abby, anything else?
No, I think that's it. Had a suggestion from Kara about a vendor review section having an option to upload a video of the product at the school to see how it's functioning. And you know, she said she often watches a short video to see how easy the product is to use. Great suggestion. So yeah, we'll look into what that takes on the development side, but you know, that's awesome. Yeah, let us know any sort of feedback like that. That's fantastic. So, but other than that, no, we're just super grateful again for all of your help and your insight, your ideas. It's been one of the most rewarding pieces of you know, the work that we're doing. It's just we do believe in the mission that we're solving you know, bridging a gap, and but we can't do it without you. So really appreciate so hopefully vendor directory will have a bunch of companies in there in the next month or so, and let us know again if there's anything that we can do on your end to help or to provide better service or tools. Just let us know.
Hello, everybody. I have a quick question.
Yeah.
Good afternoon, everybody out there all over the country. Question, I know some vendors, but some are just, I'm out here in California. Some are based in California and they really don't go across the country, if you will. Some want to expand to be able to do that. Will those vendors still be welcome? I mean, are those vendors still the type of vendors that you're looking for that can be part of the directory?
That's a great question. So there is a filter by area. So when they complete their profile, they select the state or states that they're in and that they service. And it's a great way for regional vendors to you know, just say, hey, we're really most beneficial for you know, schools in the state of California.
Great. Thank you very much. Appreciate that.
Yeah.
Yeah, Keith, thanks for the question. I'll just add that if you know, specifically of local vendors that are looking to sort of expand into other states, they may be good candidates for some of our consulting work in addition to the directory.
Okay, will do. Yeah, most definitely.
Thank you.
Sorry. For the feedback and, you know, obviously as people are using it in real time, is that going to be standard or just standardized or just kind of open-ended? Because I guess when you think like Amazon reviews, some people are going to write a novel, some people are going to write, it's great. I mean, in terms of like what type of school is using it, is it public, is it private, is it high school, is it elementary? I mean, just how long they've been using it. And then I think some of that information I think would be super helpful to kind of narrow down, you know, if it's a like-minded school or, you know, things along those lines, kind of standardize it, not just leave it open-ended feedback.
That's an awesome idea. I love that. I'm gonna take that to our developer and see if we can't just at least ask the ADs in the think tank for some of those basic questions that helps kind of qualify the feedback for others so that they know, you know, big school, small school, geography, you know, where they are. That's great. I really love that idea.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thanks, Christy. Yeah, if there's nothing else, we'll add at least a few minutes back to your day. We appreciate everybody for hopping on this. We will get to you with our follow-up right away and just keep you posted on the project of our on the progress of our launch and just additional think tank projects that are coming up and opportunities to get involved.
Awesome. Thank you guys so much.
Have a
Thank
great
you.
day.